When submitting samples to Biosecurity Sciences Laboratory, it's important to follow the correct procedure. The videos today will outline that correct procedure so that you can have a successful submission. All submissions should include a specimen advice sheet, or also known as an SAS. All fields on the SAS are important and are critical for you to complete. If you are unable to provide information for any field, please indicate that with a non-applicable or not able to provide. This enables the pathologist to make an informed decision as opposed to assuming that the information wasn't provided. It's important to include the clinical history. This enables the pathologist to make an informed decision with the processing of the specimens. In the instance of an FMD exclusion submission, some of the types of information you would include is a full description of the lesions and if multiple species on the property are affected. When submitting samples to the laboratory, it's important to ensure that you have the right container for the right sample. Some examples are shown here today. Blood should be collected in vacuette containers. When filling your containers, it's important to fill to the mark that's indicated on the tube because the additive that's inside the tube is the right proportion to the right volume of blood. When submitting whole blood, please submit it in either an EDTA or lithium heparin tube. When submitting a serum sample, submit the blood in a plain tube. When you are collecting a swab and you need that sample to be submitted in viral transport media or within a 5 ml container, it is important to ensure that the swab is beneath the container so the lid goes on fully. In the instance of FMD, you will need to use an FMD virus transport media specific as opposed to the routine VTM that you would submit. All samples that are submitted need to be adequately labelled so they are identified by the laboratory staff once received. It's important that you use a permanent waterproof marker. If you are collecting a herd analysis, that those samples are sequentially numbered from starting at 1 through to the end, and that is done clearly. You will also need to include the anatomical site on the specimen so that that can be matched up to the specimen advice sheet, which should also have that information contained on it. In summary, for a successful submission to the laboratory, it's important to ensure that all fields on the SAS are complete, ensuring that the clinical history is also present. This will enable the pathologist to make an informed decision. If it is an emergency animal disease, contact the laboratory ahead of time and forward the specimen advice sheet either by email or fax so that we're aware the submission is coming. Also make sure that the right container is used for the right sample to ensure the integrity of the sample in transport to the laboratory. Those containers need to be uniquely labelled and adequately labelled so that the laboratory can determine accordingly to the specimen advice sheet. Those samples then need to be packaged into the most appropriate box depending upon the classification of those samples.